What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things that they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. You can never force nobody else to wear them.
Things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubt. And I have my doubt that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. We're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back up. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. Hope everyone is doing well. Man, Crazy. So, like, before I've even said anything, I've got 3 likes. So, I'm assuming that the title and thumbnail alone was enough to find agreement in. Man, I'll tell you. It gets frustrating. I mean, you gotta figure I'm well into my second decade of really speaking up. And it's incredibly frustrating for anybody who's up anywhere near the top of the learning curve whatsoever. Because they've been beat with that damn thing so many times, and not their own lessons, but in waiting for other people to figure it out. And there's a whole lot of those learning curves, a whole lot of them in life. That's why one of the things that I look for when I'm looking to gain information, knowledge, experience, wisdom, whatever the case may be, is I look for that experience and I look for that wisdom. I look at the people that have done the things that I want to learn about. Not the ones who've talked about it, not necessarily the ones that went to school for it. No, the ones that can kick ass doing it. Good example of a person like that. A guy that I essentially replaced him when I went to do hydraulics work. And the guy couldn't read or write, not a single word. He signed his name with an X, and that's no exaggeration whatsoever. The guy couldn't read or write a lick, but probably one of the best machinists you would ever see. That man knew his way around the machine shop, and he was good. I would seek to learn from someone like that. Maybe not how to read or write, but how to machine. Why? Why would I want to eliminate somebody that's such a good choice to learn from? Because of something that actually unrelated is something that I may find displeasing. Not me. I'm not the normal cat. But I'm telling you right now, there's a whole lot of people out there that will look down on somebody that can't read or write. There's a whole bunch. Believe me. Why am I even mentioning that? Because it needs to be said that God didn't put me here to be nice. God didn't put me here to kiss anybody's ass, and he damn straight didn't put me here to pander. Anybody that thinks that God did put them there for that purpose on this earth, in this time, you better watch them close. I'm telling you, there's a whole lot of evil around these parts. Just saying. I'm referring necessarily or particularly about the YouTube parts of the world. A lot of full of shit people out there. A lot of scammers out there. And you know what? Still yet, none of them can tell me how they're going to get the machines going. You know, not one person. Leo, you said something to me. You mentioned something about some kind of oil, you know, refining something. You're the only one, brother. You are the only one to even bring up any type of alternative method. Blows my mind. There is no way we can make it without the machines. No way. And it blows my mind that so many people haven't even thought about it. It dumbfounds me. I really didn't realize that. I'd have been speaking up louder and louder about this a long damn time ago if I realized that these folks were this far down the curve, because this is a bit important. Again, God doesn't give two shits whether or not people like me. He's not put me here for that. Clearly, he's put me here for A, warning, and B, solutions. He didn't tell me I had to give a shit about people's feelings. Regardless of how high up in society that they see themselves. People just be knocking at the door of Babylon and don't even see it. You know, the message that I have to say about this situation with the FBI and this gentleman that was killed. It's not anything I haven't said time and time and time and time again. I'm getting tired of saying it. Until we realize that the people that commit the tyranny will be less likely to commit the tyranny if they realize that they may go home in a body bag for trying it, then they will fucking quit. But until then, the beatings will commence until morale improves. I know, but dude probably didn't do nothing and they just took his ass out. I know. We have let it get this far. Where were people when they were demolishing houses with their MRAPs because of a shoplifter? A house that didn't even belong or wasn't even associated to the shoplifter. They demolished the entire house with their MRAPs. And that's not just happened one time either. You got YouTube channels on here talking about that 1 in 10 FBI guy is a good one. Well, fuck him. All it takes for evil to succeed is for good men to stand by and do nothing. So the whole 9 out of 10 FBI guys are good is nothing but bullshit. Because why ain't that guy got reports in on 9 others? And I can answer that. Because it won't work out well for them. I can answer that. Then don't we need to fix that? See, this is a discussion I had 2 decades ago. I keep saying, man, learning curve, huge. I ain't interested to come here and steal anybody's thunder. I don't give a shit about thunder. Come here to help. I come here to give solutions that nobody else is even thinking of the problems. But yet, in the end, it's going to be what takes people out unless they overcome that problem. Because this whole huddling up with 20 of your buddies idea isn't gonna cut it, folks. If that's your plan, you need to get out of the mindset now. How the fuck 20 people gonna be able to plant and harvest enough food to eat? And let's say they got animals. Okay, well, you're going to keep moving them from place to place so they can graze. You got the land. Okay, good. Good deal. Good. How are you going to remain from being a target? And what type of super secret suit do you have to wear to not wind up a target at some point during the raising of said animals? It's ridiculous, is what it is. And I think why I get so frustrated is because I'm just trying to be real with people. They're so full of bullshit and ego. They won't even slow down long enough to go, oh, wait. Because I guarantee you that moment hasn't hit them yet. Because when it does hit you, it's like the whole pole shift thing. When it truly hits you, when you truly have that aha moment and see it and understand the theory behind how it's going to play out, it's a wake-up call. Because out of all the things that all the different YouTube channels want to fearmonger about this week, oh yeah, now the COVID lockdowns are coming back and all that bullshit. That's this week again. It's fucking nonsense. And every single one of them will gaslight the fuck out of this channel. But none of them can tell you how to get the machines going. Ain't that the bitch? Anyway, sorry. No, I just, I get tired of egotistical bullshit, and I've heard even more egotistical bullshit shortly before coming on here. And and I'm not above anybody. But I've been down roads that people haven't even started to go down. And I'm just trying to show people a shortcut while it still matters. Because it doesn't matter how good the shortcut is if nobody tells them about it or they don't take action on it. It doesn't matter how damn good that shortcut is if they didn't do anything with that knowledge, that information. Anyhow, back to the FBI situation. I know I'm jumping back and forth, but it's all really, it's about the same thing. It's about the realization of the situation. I got a 75-year-old man, apparently 300-pound, walked with a stick, had issues even getting up. Hell, I don't think I'll make it to 75. No, I ain't even gonna get there, homie. Guaranteed. Guaranteed I will not do 75. I bet I don't hit 60. I'll really debate 55. So 75, if he could walk, more power to that dude. But I wouldn't consider him even for a second a threat. Especially against, young physically fit or many young physically fit men. But he had a gun. Yeah. It's not going to stop until we put a stop to it. And there's probably several parts to that. It's not any one thing. It's a series of things that we're going to have to do as people in this nation to say, look, we've had it. We've had enough of this. Folks, I don't forget. And that's one thing I think that's especially aggravating for me. Because as I watch things like this happen with this man, as I watch it, I don't just think about this man and this incident. Because I've got all kinds of other men and incidents that flood my head as well. People like Lavoy Finicum. I don't forget. I make it a point not to forget. It's not just some happenstance thing. I make it a point not to forget these men. When the people doing the bad things are made to feel more uncomfortable by what might happen if they continue to do the bad things, that's when they will quit doing the bad things. Right? Hey, that's been the story of man from the beginning of time, and it will be until the end of time. That's why, ideally, if somebody commits some horrendous offense against another person, that the punishment is just and is equal to that. That's not what we have. We don't have anything of that today. We've got people that can undoubtedly be involved in very illegal business dealings and remain president of the United States of America. And not just that. That's bad enough. But not just that. To have widespread political persecution across not even just other politicians. Not even just other politicians. Right? This is worse than combat. They're going after the civilians. What would you think? What would you think if, say, for instance, in the Russia-Ukraine situation, if Russia just started bombing the shit out of the people of Ukraine? You would think that would be insane, right? You would demand that the other nations step in and put a stop to it, and rightfully so. That's what we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we are dealing with. It's unbelievable. It is so unbelievable. And it only continues because they fear no consequences. When that changes, so will our situation. But until then, thank you, may I have another. There's only one way to put a stop to it, and that's to put a stop to it. And again, that comes from many different angles. I'm not advising anybody to go out and do any particular act or anything like that. It takes a lot of things. It takes a series of a lot of things in a lot of places at a lot of times from a lot of people. It doesn't even have to be anything aggressive or violent or anything of the sort. Man, just the power of people in numbers has the ability to do amazing things, but you got to put those numbers together. And in this nation, we don't have a problem doing that for a ball game. We don't have a problem doing that for some kind of bullshit. But boy, is it sure the hell a problem to come together to fix the problems in the country. It's the damnedest thing, and I cannot figure it out. I cannot figure it out. Anyway, I'm sure you've heard about this story about 36 times by now. I can't imagine any... Okay, so first of all, now, I've never been a cop. I'm sure you're well aware of that. But, and I say cop, you know, FBI, whatever. I would think that on any level, any level whatsoever, before you would go and commit a raid like this, you would, I don't know, do a little looking into the situation, know what you're dealing with. Just common sense. So, I'm sure that they knew he was 75. I'm sure that they knew that he was obese. I'm sure that they knew that he did not have good mobility. I am sure that they knew that he was very involved in his church. I'm sure that they are aware of 100 different ways they could have approached that man in a safe and calm manner. But they didn't choose any one of them. They chose a 6 a.m. raid. Why are they having raids to begin with? Because he said, I refuse to pretend that it's okay for one side of the aisle to do crazy things like that one, I can't stand her, comedian that walked around with Trump's hat. You know, the pictures of her with Trump's hat or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, just non-stop things. And I'm not defending that piece of shit, meaning Trump. But non-stop things that the left said about him. Comments that would indicate that they wished for his death or whatever the case may be. That was fine. In fact, that got parroted time and time again by the mainstream media. The crazy thing is how ignorant it all is to begin with. Meaning the whole right-left paradigm lie. Folks, there's something that people might want to figure out in short order. It's not right versus left. It's us versus them. And right now they have us so divided. Right now they got us where our priorities are so screwed up and backwards. And when I'm saying that, I'm not necessarily speaking to people that would be here listening to the show. If you're here listening to the show, you're already well aware of a lot of stuff going on in this country. Well, there's a lot of people that's really not. A majority of people that's really not as far as knowledgeable about these situations as people like you that seek alternative news information other places than mainstream media, because the large majorities flip on that TV screen. Anyway, I guess I'll go through. I just kind of, I don't know, run through these. I've got a ton of these open. I'm going to try to go through them as quick as I can. There's like this here I've got to comment on. I raised hell about Obamacare. Oh, did I raise hell? Because I've read it. There's a whole lot of people in this country don't know. And I don't know, and a lot of it you tell people and they just brush it off, like, oh, okay. Do you know that with the Obamacare bill, that if you have ever been treated for any kind of a mental illness, whether it be a little bit of depression, anxiety, whatever, doesn't matter. Do you know that you are technically property of the state? Don't look at me. Look in the bill. It's there. I've read it more than once. So as people are holding up Trump and his little chariot of whatever the hell, just remember there's a reason why he didn't continue seeking the end of the Obamacare bill. He never intended to. But hey, He got a lot of people to vote for him for doing... He got rid of the individual mandate. Whoopee. Nobody was going to comply anyway. So, did he get rid of the individual mandate, or did they save a little bit of face? Because of the mass non-compliance that they damn well knew they were looking at. So you get lied to about a lot of shit. A lot of shit. Especially when it comes to them trying to convince you how many people support something. Well, they lie a lot about that shit. The funniest thing ever, and I'll probably go to my grave saying this, is all the different times that I've seen different news outlets or different news websites, or what have you, do a poll on marijuana. Because I have never seen anything in such mass that the people are in agreement on. And it's hilarious. You're talking 70, 80 percentile every time. And it's hilarious. There's not many not many polls that are that uncontrollable. Not many. I gotta give it to that one. And it's funny because in our area, I think there was a lot of people that wanted to kind of discourage the idea, but it didn't work out for them too well. The group page, the town group page. Apparently, I guess it's, I don't know if it's tonight or not. Might be now. I guess there's a band maybe uptown on the square. And a lady, I'm not going to say her name or nothing, but a lady was apparently up there trying to enjoy the music. But there was apparently some lady behind her that wouldn't shut up. Funny. See, this town's funny. Good and bad, but it's funny. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. And here's the other thing. I was going to say this at the beginning. I guess people will figure it out. I may or may not be doing the VR thing tomorrow. And the reason why is because I have came upon the decision that by the end of this weekend, I'm going to be done with my flight around the country. Because there's only one way to get it done, and that's to do it. And that's been the problem. I've had to kind of, I keep looking and I keep thinking, man, because I really need to have a good flight. I really need to put in about 4 or 5 hours. And that's a lot of damn time. And it's kind of hard to do that. Well, I need to have 2 or 3 sessions like that so I can get this flight done. So there may not be a VR show tomorrow. Probably a good chance there won't be, because I do intend to, by the time this weekend's over, I want to have that flight over with. I don't know why, I just want to do this flight really bad in this plane, and almost there. So anyway, let me run through this stuff. UK military could recruit autistic soldiers. I know I got very far off course. But the thing of it is expect the very same thing here. In fact, they've already got all the provisions in place to do whatever the hell they want to do to anybody that's ever been treated for any type of mental anything. even a little bit of depression, anything. It's crazy. It's messed up. It's in there. You can go read it. I'm not going to point out the exact... No. I am so fed up. I have busted my ass for my skills and my knowledge. And there is no way possible that I can just hand people that. It's not like it's a physical thing that you can possess, that you can just slap upside the head and then next thing you know you've got that knowledge in your head. It doesn't work that way. I don't know what to tell people other than you have to put in the work. There are some things we just can't cheat on. Knowledge is one of them. You gotta put in the work. You gotta put in the time. You know, the thing that really sits on my mind, I've read so many different novels, and there are a lot of things in novels that are based on true events. You have to know how to discern what to do, to take from those publications and what to leave with those publications. And there are a lot of times to where the author will do their homework and they will reference several different things in the novels that have actually happened. One of those moments, and a number of novels that I've seen similar scenarios take place, people walking down a street or a road or what have you, through a field, and ashes falling on them. And the disturbing thing about that is that those ashes came from an incinerator where they were incinerating the elderly and the disabled. And if you don't think that happens, I encourage you to pick up a history book. Look at what they're doing in Canada right now with the assisted suicides. These are all steps. The Obamacare thing I told you about, the UK doing that, these are all steps. We're headed to a dark, dark place. Probably a good time for people to get serious about how they're going to survive. Why I'm serious, up to a point that I am absolute dick about wood gasification and knowing how to get those machines going. And it's got to be an answer that the majority can use, not just something that one group of people might have good access to. As I said earlier, this whole nonsense about your 20 people surviving the end of the world, and that's a bunch of bullshit, Hollywood-inspired nonsense. And the craziest thing of it all is most people don't even realize that's what it is. And it is. People gonna turn into John Wick. Anyway, moving on. NATO state to place 10,000 troops on Russian allies' border, says minister. Yep, they're up in the number. Biden to ask Congress for more Ukraine money. Yeah, I'm just going to try to poke through these. Why is he even asking at this point? I mean, does it matter? As far as what anybody has to say? Clearly not. U.S. credit card debt tops $1 trillion, says a report. Wow. I am happy to say that Jen and I are not responsible for a single penny of that. That's good. For those that are, decades ago I was saying, man, why would you do that? I was the dumbass because, I mean, everybody else was doing it. I was the dumbass for not doing it, right? Right. U.S. inflation cooling as consumer prices rise moderately again. Okay, now wait a minute here. Slow down, because I got a question. Inflation is cooling, right? Meaning that inflation is calming down. Everything's gonna be okay. But the prices are still rising. What am I missing here? Apparently there's a math formula that I haven't been taught. Crazy. Niger's neighbors approve military intervention. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. This is something I was saying that might want to keep an eye on. I don't really expect a whole lot out of the area, but, you know, turmoil is turmoil. There's a lot of craziness going on right now. Look at that. I got down to the last tab pretty quick. Russia launches first moon probe in 47 years. Wow, that's pretty good. What has the United States done? Oh, we've shot Chinese balloons out of the air. Oh, the moon? Oh, yeah, we can see it from our backyard. Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm glad somebody's doing it. I don't care if it's Russia. I don't care if it's China. I would prefer that it be us. But we've got a bunch of dumbasses in charge that don't give a shit about nothing but feeding the people that are employed in the military-industrial complex and all the freaks that the reptilian overlords. I really do wish that the leaders of the nations would get their heads out of their asses and they would actually work together. That would be cool. Not saying we have to be one country, one world. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you take the best and the brightest, best and brightest from each nation and you put them together to solve the world's issues. And not just solve world issues, but also do things like explore and learn and Nope, we're too busy trying to figure out how we can be pissed off enough at each other to blow the shit out of one another. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I have a hard time believing that there aren't enough people that think with my mindset. I know I'm an odd duck, but some of this stuff, I swear to God, it's got to be common sense. And if it's not, holy hell, why not? Let's see. Russia downs drones headed towards Moscow. Presidential hopeful assassinated. We talked about that. Yesterday that is. Biden restricts U.S. investments in Chinese tech. Russia could regulate video game currencies. Ukraine reports to U.S. on cluster munitions use, says CNN. I covered those. Zelensky pledges to purge his own MPs. West accepts Ukrainian corruption, says Kiev. Domestic company worth more than EU state's entire GDP. Swedish police reveal consequences of Quran burning stunts. Ukraine orders evacuation of key town near Kharkov. Ruble in top 3 worst performing currencies, says Bloomberg. Ukraine accuses popular rum of sponsoring war. Vietnam wants to partner with the U.S., says Biden. Turkey's ex-top spy admits role in Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict. And I know I got the name wrong. I probably never got it right. So, EU hit with gas price shock. Covered that. Let's see. Russia proposes visa-free travel deal to India. White House doesn't know if Pentagon vetting foreign fighters at trains. Oh yeah, just show up. It doesn't matter who you are. 36 killed in Hawaii wildfires. I believe that number's been upped. I want to say 53 was the number I saw on my phone earlier as a headline, I want to say, but that number has been unfortunately increased. Kim Jong-un sacks his top general. Iran asks South Africa for BRICS support. U.S. Library of Congress apologizes for calling a woman she. Baltic nation announces new aid package for Ukraine. Trump enters plea in new classified documents charges. Israel ends free medical care for Ukrainians. U.S. prosecutors propose Trump trial date. Zelensky will never negotiate with Putin, says Ukrainian FM. Kiev's transgender spokesperson ends boycott of CNN. Switzerland detains 4 terrorism supporters. Biden gone crazy, says Trump. Let's see. Poland admits Ukraine's counteroffensive won't succeed. Ukraine bans Christian monks from their monastery. Well, that's not cool. U.S. reaches deal to free detained Americans in Iran, says media. Let's see. Zelensky could fire defense minister, says Ukrainian media. And that is it. Fun times. Okay, like I said, I wouldn't count on the VR show tomorrow, because, damn it, I'm getting that flight done, one way or another. And other than that, I will see you cats on Sunday evening. So, I'm getting out of here, because I am done with this week of news. So, I hope you all have a good weekend. Hope you all have a good evening. Hope to see you Sunday night. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.